What's going on? It's Jamar here, Vegas Sense. I am definitely excited to do this video here today. I really love to do fragrance videos on like more of the fresher fragrances. So, fragrances that they sort of emphasize like on citruses and musk. I love those types of fragrances, definitely for the warmer weather. So I want to go ahead and bring all of these fragrances to you all. Most of these, or I won't say most of them, a lot of these fragrances to most people, you're not going to be familiar with them. I mean, just looking at the list, I would say, honestly, there's only one fragrance on here that's based on like a designer, or two of them actually. And then for the most part, all of these other fragrances are sort of like niche style fragrances, or based on them anyway. So I plan on having fun with this video here. I hope you all enjoy the video as well. And if this is your first time watching any video from me, definitely go ahead and drop a comment, like the video, share the video, and obviously subscribe. All right. So just getting right into it here. The first fragrance that I'm gonna go ahead and go with here is gonna be number 12, and that is Franck Olivier's Eau de Passion. All right, and this particular fragrance is Franck Olivier's interpretation of Platinum Egoiste by Chanel. So Platinum Egoiste by Chanel is like this really musky, citrusy, spicy, sort of woody type of scent. This one was like really popular back in like the 90s and 2000s, but I do think that this fragrance has aged well, because this fragrance is still has no problem selling in stores and retail stores, and people still do really enjoy and love this particular fragrance. Now, this compared to the original, from when I smelled the original Platinum Egoiste by Chanel, I couldn't tell much of any difference between that and this. Now, I would have to have like a side-by-side comparison to really be able to tell which one smells better than the other or what the differences are. But based on, like I said, when I went into a store and actually smelled this, I didn't smell too much of a difference, at all. And I mean, pretty much once this dries down, it just dries down to like a nice musky, sort of woody, spicy type of dry down. Kind of like, it's sort of like a barbershop fougere type of fragrance, but I would say that this one, it's still fresh enough to where it's not the most barbershoppy type of fragrance that you could wear. This one is still, I would say, considered like a really nice fresh scent. All right. So, at number 12, we have Platinum Egoiste. All right. So at number 11, I'm going to go ahead and go with Creed's Asian Green Tea. I have a picture over here for it. So Creed's Asian Green Tea, this particular fragrance, it would probably be like in my top 3, or definitely at least the top 5 if it had better performance. The opening of this fragrance is absolutely amazing. It's really refreshing and bright. You get like some nice citrus when you first spray this on, and obviously you get green tea when you first spray this on as well. And the green tea in this particular fragrance is very much natural smelling. It's very authentic smelling green tea, and this one, like I said, it's just really refreshing. The only downside to this fragrance is, at least on my skin, the longevity on it is like literally maybe like 2.5 hours. And I might get like maybe 45 minutes or so, hour max of projection. And the projection on it isn't super beastly either, you know, obviously with it being a Creed. So, you know, it's definitely, you get like a nice little small scent bubble, but it's not something that's gonna really push out. But this, if this lasted longer, I would say this would be perfect for, especially like, you know, in the spring when it sort of rains a little bit more than any other time in the year. This would be perfect for like a nice, humid, rainy day when you just want something to kind of brighten up your, you know, your senses and your overall mood, because it's like overcast and raining all day. This is the perfect scent for that. You know, like I said, it really is refreshing. Just wish it had better performance. All right. So at number 11, that one is Asian Green Tea by Creed. So at number 10, I'm gonna go with Alexandria's Glacier. So Alexandria's Glacier is their interpretation of Creed's Pure White Cologne. So Creed Pure White Cologne is a very simple fragrance. Pretty much when you first spray this on, you sort of get like this almost chilling or kind of cooling type of feel to it, you know, hence the name Glacier. So that's the vibe that you first get when you spray this on. And it's like a really cold, citrusy type of, you know, feel to it. But then once this starts to dry down, the main player comes out in this fragrance, which is pear and musk, I would say. Pear, musk, and like an ambergris type of smell. And this one, I would say this is the fragrance that you want to wear when, you know, it's relatively warm outside, you know, 70, 80 degrees. You know, the sun is beating down on you, but you just want to smell and look fresh. So you've got on like a white t-shirt, some jeans, some fresh white shoes. Maybe you've got on like a really crisp button up or something like that with some jeans. This is that kind of fragrance that you want to wear when, like I said, you want to give off that appearance that you're fresh and clean, and then you want to have that actual smell like, yeah, I'm fresh and clean. All right. So again, Glacier, man, this one I definitely plan on getting a full bottle of for sure, because this is definitely a banger from Alexandria Fragrances. All right. So that one is Glacier at number 10. So at number 9, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Aventus Cologne from Sensual Obsessions. So this is obviously their interpretation of Aventus Cologne by Creed. And honestly, to my nose, this smells identical to Aventus Cologne, especially in the dry down. When you first spray this on in the opening, it's not as crisp and as invigorating as Aventus Cologne is in the opening, which I would say that's probably the best part of Aventus Cologne is the opening. But this is definitely dead on to Aventus Cologne in the dry down of this particular fragrance. And if any of you all have not smelled Aventus Cologne is pretty much Creed Aventus with the smoke completely taken out. You know, it's not really a super woody fragrance either. And the pineapple and the apple and stuff like that are replaced with mandarin orange. All right. This also doesn't have like that really nice black currant opening to it as well, as that note has been taken out of it. This is definitely a more unisex version of the fragrance, so this is definitely something that a man or a woman could absolutely enjoy or pull off. But I would say that this is definitely this is the version of Aventus that's more so suited for warmer weather. All right, Aventus is definitely an all year round fragrance, but I think that this is the better choice for an Aventus scent when it comes to warmer weather. All right, so number 9, we have Aventus Cologne by Central Obsessions. All right, number 8. Number 8, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Sublime Vanille by Central Obsessions. Sublime Vanille is like, it's a simple fragrance. This is a vanilla based fragrance, but I would say the vanilla on this one is super light. It's super light, and honestly, I would say you get more citruses and musk with this particular fragrance than you get vanilla. The vanilla is definitely still there. It gives it sort of like a nice little sweetness to it. But the citruses, I would say, are more so the main player in this particular fragrance. And I mean, I get pretty decent longevity out of this one, like 7 hours or so. It never really is a fragrance that pushes out or projects super loudly. But this one, it works really well. So I definitely plan on wearing this one a lot when it starts to warm up, because this one is really refreshing as well. All right. So again, that one is Sublime Vanille. Okay. So at number 7, I am going to go with Homme Classique by Alexandria Fragrances. So Homme Classique, if you've watched any of my other, fragrance videos, this one so far has been my most complimented scent that I own, period, or that I've ever owned. And as you can see here, I mean, I'm almost done with this bottle. So this particular fragrance is Alexandria's interpretation of YSL L'Homme. Now, this particular fragrance is sort of gotten, I guess, not the best response from some of the people who have tried it. And I think it's because they're expecting this to smell exactly like YSL L'Homme, and it doesn't. But in my opinion, I enjoy this one more than I do YSL L'Homme. With this particular fragrance, what it does is it takes the citruses and the ginger from YSL L'Homme and it amps them up. And this particular fragrance ends up being like a much more aromatic, lighter and less dense version of YSL L'Homme. So it definitely makes for a much better choice to wear over regular L'Homme in warmer weather. All right. I kind of feel like L'Homme is a bit more on the heavier side, even though it is still kind of like a fresh scent. But L'Homme is not something that I would want to wear like when it's, I don't know, 80 plus degrees outside or 70 to 80 degrees. This is definitely the much better choice. And like I said, I think it's due to like that ginger citrus mix, the way that Honey, composed this one. This one really gets good attention from women. It really does. So if you're looking for like a cheap compliment getter to wear during warmer weather, this is a great choice for that. All right. So again, this one is Homme Classique by Alexandria Fragrances. All right, so at number 6, I'm gonna go ahead and go with another one from Central Obsessions again, and this is their interpretation of Creed Silver Mountain Water. So this interpretation of Creed Silver Mountain Water is honestly, my favorite interpretation that I've smelled. I've smelled Armaux's Derby Clubhouse Blanche. I have Alt Fragrances, Platinum Water. I can't think of the name of it. I've smelled Alexandria's Crystal Peak, which is their interpretation of Silver Mountain Water. And honestly, this is still hands down my favorite version. Now, this again is not the most accurate interpretation of Silver Mountain Water. It's not. It doesn't have like that super metallic, sort of inky smell that Silver Mountain Water has. This one, when you spray it on, is definitely more so about, I would say, the blackcurrant and green tea. And you know, I really like tea scents. So this one is very refreshing to my nose. And this is definitely a really good scent to wear, like when it's anywhere from, I would say, probably 60 to about 80 to 85 degrees or so. It lasts all day. You know, if I spray maybe about 5 or 6 sprays of this on me, it's gonna get me through the entire day. And that's really good for a fresh, light scent like this one. Again, this one isn't one that really projects super beast mode, but it does have a decent amount of projection, I would say, at least for about probably the first hour and a half to 2 hours, all right? So again, that one is Sensual Obsessions Silver Mountain Water. So now we're getting down into the top 5. So at number 5, I have Gumin by Tiziana Terenzi. So this particular fragrance, it really blew me away when I first smelled this fragrance at Neiman Marcus. When you first spray this on, you get like a blast of all these different like citruses and fruits. So this one, it has pineapple. It has, pineapple, mandarin orange, and bergamot. And I mean, the quality and just how natural all of these fruits smell sort of blended together. This is really, really, really nice. Like I really do plan on getting a bottle of this one for sure, or at least like another decan or something, because this is like the perfect, you know, springtime scent. And it's definitely, I would say it's a daytime scent for sure. I couldn't really see wearing this one at night. But this is definitely one that you would want to wear when it's like, you know, just clear blue sky, you know, it's warm outside. Maybe you've got a little bit of a breeze or so to kind of let this fragrance sort of carry. This is really, really nice. It has like some amber and some florals in it as well. And then once this dries down, you know, the main thing that you would get, I would say, is like sort of like the amber and musk type of combination, along with like some cedar. So this fragrance, man, this one, like I said, is really good. It gets compared to Silver Mountain Water, but in my opinion, it doesn't smell exactly like Silver Mountain Water. It does have some similarities, but it's still its own fragrance, I would say. All right. So again, definitely check this one out. Gumin by Tiziana Terenzi. All right. So at number four, I'm going to go with Genre Parfums RAMC. So RAMC stands for Ran After My Car. And this one, I see where the name comes from. This one smells so good that I would say, you know, coming from the right female that just happens to love this scent, I could see her running after your car, because this one is a very, very sexy scent. It really is. I would say this one would definitely be more so of a go-to sort of date night spring scent, I think is what this would be more appropriate for. Is definitely wearing this one at night. But this one, it has like that pineapple vibe to it as well. But then it has some oud mixed in as well. And it really makes for a really good combination. This is kind of like a sparkly, sort of fruity, woody type of scent. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily smell like Aventus, because I know a lot of times, anytime someone sees pineapple in the scent, they compare it to Aventus. Doesn't smell like Aventus, but it's an amazing scent. So definitely go and check out this one, RAMC from Genre Parfums. All right. So now we've made it into the top 3, and if you made it this far, I appreciate you for staying with me here. So at number 3, I'm gonna go ahead and go with another one from Alexandria Fragrances, and this is Hachivas. All right, so this is Alexandria's interpretation of Nishane's Hachivat. All right, so Nishane is basically a Turkish fragrance house, and this one definitely, to my nose, it does smell very similar to Aventus. I would say within probably the first 10 to 15 minutes or so. It absolutely does smell like Aventus a lot. I would say sort of like Aventus and Roja Elysium sort of mixed together. Now, I haven't smelled the original Hachivat, so I don't know what the differences are between this and that. But that's kind of the vibe that I get from this. It's sort of like a mix between, again, Aventus and Elysium, but only, I would say, in the first 15 minutes or so of the opening, once you're waiting for this to sort of dry down. Once it dries down, in the dry down, this doesn't smell anything like Aventus. It's not smoky, it's not birchy smelling. I would say it is sort of musky, but it has its a completely different vibe than what Aventus has. And honestly, in my opinion, I do prefer this to Aventus, which is why I don't have like Aventus or an Aventus clone in this list. Because this is honestly, in my opinion, the better scent. All right. So at number 3, Alexandria Fragrances, Hachivas. All right. So at number 2 is going to be my most recent pickup, and this one is from the house of Malinard, and it goes by the name of Fig. So Fig is basically, it's what the name says, it's fig. So this one is super, super refreshing. I just got this in, like I said, and when you spray this one, if you go right in to try to smell this right after you spray it on, it is a little bit on the harsher side. You do sort of get like a harsh sort of alcohol type of smell. That goes away, I would say, after maybe, 15 seconds or so. And then it starts to sort of dry down to like this really fresh, almost sort of soapy and green, but juicy, I would say, fig scent. And you get like some, like a lemon citrus type of smell in there as well. And I would say the lemon is most strongest when you first spray this on. I think that might also be like what I'm smelling when I'm saying that it comes off a little bit harsh. It's basically like that lemon. But the lemon definitely, once it starts to dry down, it kind of goes away. But this one is a super refreshing scent. I would say this is also another one of those scents that you would want to wear on like an overcast day when it looks and feels gloomy outside, but you don't want to let that ruin your mood. This right here, this will do it. This will really do it. All right. And the best thing about this particular fragrance is it is considered a niche fragrance, but I was able to pick this one up for like $39 on eBay. All right, so this one, the price on this one is really, really good for what you get in terms of smell. All right, and so that one again is Fig by Molinard. So at number one, I have another one by Sensual Obsessions, and this one goes by Wood Sage and Sea Salt, and that is their interpretation of Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone. So this fragrance, man, when you first spray this on, as I've stated in other Sensual Obsessions fragrance videos, Sensual Obsessions fragrances tend to be pretty linear. They tend to go straight into like the dry down or mid of a particular fragrance and sort of stay that way. This one definitely changes a bit on my skin anyway. I haven't smelled the original Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt, but this one is definitely going to be a fragrance that I plan to get a full bottle of, because this smells really, really good. The name of it doesn't really, I guess, describe exactly how this smells. I mean, I do sort of get like a sort of salty, almost sort of marine type of smell to it, but I more so get sort of like a sweet kind of citrusy smell with like sea salt and a little bit of seaweed in the background. I would say most of the seaweed smell that I get is when I initially spray this on. So when you initially spray this on, you do sort of get like a greenness mixed with like citrus. And the citrus in this particular fragrance is grapefruit. But again, that's not the main thing that I get from this. But this is just a really, really unique scent. I've never smelled anything like this, but again, this really, it blew me away. So definitely check this one out from Sensual Obsessions. From what I understand, the original version of this fragrance has terrible longevity and performance. So if you want a fragrance that is gonna last a decent amount of time, definitely check this one out from Sensual Obsessions, all right? So I know this was a pretty long video, but again, man, I just wanna make sure I get all these fragrances out to you all, get you all hip to them. That's one thing that I plan on doing a lot this year when it comes to my videos, is tackling fragrances that a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about or are aware of, all right? So again, it's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.